Korn is playing.
Yes,
I think
Korn
Friday.
is one of them. They said.
I mean, it shows when that's the band I would want to see.
Were you a big Korn fan back in the day?
No, but I would go see. I've seen them before. I saw them in like
What's his name?
95 or
Jonathan
something.
Davis.
Davies.
Yep, that's it.
But yeah, I would absolutely go see them now. It'd be hilarious.
If I was there, I would probably go over there to see him.
Their bassist has that 6-string bass guitar, and I always thought, like, what? Just play a guitar. Like, play a guitar with pretty big gauges.
That's the whole thing. They had 7-string guitars that they would detune to be just as heavy as you could possibly be. So you tune it down three half steps below what it's supposed to be, and then you add another string that makes it even deeper and lower. So yeah, it's crazy.
Wasn't he the one that wore the black contacts too?
Monk, yeah, I think it was.
Or did they just do that for the?
Could have been anybody.
No, that was you're thinking of Wes Borland of Limp Bizkit.
Yes. Yep.
Was it Borland?
No, wasn't Wes Borland an actor?
No,
it was
you're thinking
Wes
of
Wes something.
Home Improvement.
No, that's Al Borland.
Borland. Al Borland. That's what I thought you were thinking of. Oh, I think you're thinking of Wes from American Beauty.
Yes, I am.
Wes Bentley.
Bentley, they're cousins.
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are a grown man with grown man money and grown man bullets, and a guy that can play and get as much corn liquor as he can drink, Martin and Brady.
You keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home.
Blues wasn't forced on us like that religion. Nah, son. We brought that with us from home. It's magic what we do. It's sacred. And big.
This week, we dance our way through the horrors of the night with Ryan Coogler's latest offering starring Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, a film that's part Southern Gothic horror, part historical reckoning, and part celebration of black music and culture. Coogler uses vampires not just as monsters, but as metaphors for cultural exploitation and the systems that drain communities of their lifeblood. From blues-soaked performances to ancestral chants that feel like spells, the soundtrack is as vital as any character on screen. The question is, did you know it was a horror movie when you started it?
I definitely went into it kind of pretty blind, like not knowing what anything about it. I tried to make sure not to watch anything. It was actually Charlie, who's on us in this episode, who was just like, "Hey, you want to go see Sinners?" And I'm like, "Hell yes, I do." Welcome, Charlie.
Thanks for having me.
Friend of the pod, welcome back.
I'm happy to be here.
One of the 3 loyal listeners.
Right after the movie, I was like, you're coming out and doing this for the pod whenever we get around to it.
That's great. You guys saw it in the theater. I definitely can see that having this being a great theater experience. I did not at the theater and was going to watch it, and it was coming out. I was like, okay, I'll watch it when it hits. And then we started talking about doing it for the pod, so it just kept getting pushed out, and people kept asking, have you seen it yet? I'm like, nope, it's coming. Now, whether it was just enough time gone by, or I don't even remember, honestly, if I knew at the time, but I definitely did not know that this was going to go the way it did. So it was, a happy accident, but I was very much caught off guard.
Yeah, I knew there were vampires involved. I just didn't know to what extent. So I was still surprised at the way it turned out. But it was... it gave me some vibes of like an elevated version of From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I was
absolutely.
like, oh, okay. So somebody like actually tried to make Dusk Till Dawn into a decent film. And
ooh, I love From
Shots
Dusk Till
fired.
Dawn. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, there's only a few redeeming qualities of that movie for me. First name is Salma, the last name is Hayek.
Nice. It's not the mariachi band with the decapitated heads on their instruments?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. Being a true hater here.
Charlie, I think you did say, you're like, yeah, we should pair this with From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm like, oh, we already did that. I'm like, I definitely made sure we did that for one of our Halloween specials.
Yeah, I did know that it was a vampire flick going in, though. I kind of wish I didn't, because the genres that it winds up blending and how there's like 4 different plot points that kind of come together in the end. It could have been any of those movies, right? So there's the Native American aspect, and I'm not trying to jump too far ahead here, but there's the Native American story. There's the Prohibition era smuggling in the South. There's the gangster drama. It's essentially took like 4 different films and plot outlines and just mashed them together to make something that's actually cohesive, which is a miracle in and of itself.
Yeah, and unique as hell. And what I really loved about it was, I think, because I watched it again now in the theater and then at home. And the second viewing, what I loved about it is that first hour, when they're like getting everything together, planning the party, making sure that they have everything right, talking about. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to open up a juke joint. Like that was just like it's like the heist movie. Planning the heist is better than the heist. And that's what this was like, planning the party.
That's what Martin loves.
But then on top of it, I love vampire movies. I love horror movies. So like this movie, I love this movie. I think this is like the best movie I've seen in a long time.
Well, and that's where I think you touched on it, Martin, right? Like the first hour or whatever, like that is its own movie. And then there's literally an entire different movie coming on the back end, and that's where I'm watching it, and again, not really being oblivious to the fact of what this movie maybe was about. And I was thinking, and I said something to somebody, did they maybe not really market it as such? Did they not really advertise that it was a horror or that there was vampire? I mean, I feel like, did they keep that kind of vague in the trailers and such?
I think so, until later on. I think maybe it got out when people started talking about it, but I think that was a good idea not to, because I don't think people would have had a different feeling about it if they went in thinking, oh, this is a horror movie. The thing that jumped out for me when you first start the movie is, you see the beginning scene with Preacher Boy when he walks into the church, and then they're like, 24 hours earlier or one day earlier, you're like, wait a minute, everything in this movie happens only one day ago? Like, because I knew there was like an epic, right? And I was like, that's a lot of stuff to like happen in one day. But like you said, Charlie, there's a lot of different storylines. Like, you have the 2 brothers with the like their previous lives of, the women they loved in their lives and how those relationships ended, and then, them going up to Chicago and then realizing Chicago wasn't for them, and then coming back, and then like you said, Martin, getting the crew together. They go to get Preacher Boy, they go to get Delta Slim, they go to get Cornbread,
they get the sign made. From
I feel like
they get the truck. This guy, he's like, the guys are trying to steal him, so he shoots one of them, and he's like, I had to shoot you too because you can't.
Such
away
a good
with,
scene.
Like, only one guy getting shot.
And
I feel like describing it as them realizing that Chicago wasn't for them might be glossing over a little bit of what happened up in Chicago, but decided like, enough. This just isn't our city. We're gonna head home, as opposed to them like potentially robbing 2 different gangs in Chicago and having to get the hell out of town.
Yeah, I definitely missed that the first time around. But then they talk about that, like the Italian wine and the Irish beer.
Yeah,
and that scene when Delroy Lindo comes in, I love Delroy Lindo too,
dude. My note is
the best part of that movie.
My note was, I love Delroy Lindo in everything.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about him when we did Devil's Advocate, when he was in like almost an uncredited cameo. And that, Martin, looks like you forgot.
I did forget that. I was thinking more of Gone.
You remember he sacrificed he was sacrificing like goats in the basement,
Yes,
and he was
that's
like,
right.
yeah, we talked about it at that point. Like, he's awesome, but Charlie, I wholeheartedly agree. He is. I don't know if he's the best part of this movie, but he's right up there because he is fantastic.
He's icing on a cake, yeah, for sure.
I actually read a thing that the scene where they're passing the chain gang, and he tells that heartbreaking story about how he got away and they're all still there. But what he yells at them, like keep your chin up, or like hold your head up high, or whatever he says, that he improv the whole thing, so that when he turned back to Michael B. Jordan in the car, and what's the kid's name again?
Preacher Boy or Sammy?
Sammy?
Preacher Boy, Sammy.
Sammy. Sammy and Michael B. Jordan, the reaction that they give him is genuine, just because it's staged that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
I
great.
agree. He's phenomenal, and I almost
His voice is really just his voice does so much. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, I almost put on the Five Bloods just because I was like, man, I need some more Delroy.
Thought you were gonna say Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's what I was gonna say. That's the movie I was expecting you to say, Brady. Was Gone in 60 Seconds. But yeah, when he takes that, when he pops open that beer in front of him, like, and then he takes that first sip of it, and it's just kind of like, because it's in Prohibition, so he hasn't had probably a good beer or any beer in so long. Like, just perfectly acted.
The light bulb just goes on. You can see all the neurons firing.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And Soul of the Game, Martin. That's the one. I think I brought it up when we talked about. But that was what I when I was a kid, I saw Soul of the Game, and he was Satchel Paige, and I literally have like always recognized and liked him as a result of that. And
you mentioned his voice. Another voice in this movie that we've never seen, Miles Catton, the voice Sammy. I mean, he has an amazing voice. I could listen to him sing blues all day.
Like, it doesn't feel like he should have. Delroy's weathered.
Yeah,
he's been through.
Right,
he's lived a long life. This newcomer.
Anyone know where they found him?
First movie.
Right.
He just auditioned. They said, and he like mesmerized Coogler.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
They said he had it. He had the soul that they were, I think, looking for. And I think there were some parts where I was like, all right, you could kind of tell he's maybe not the strongest actor, but man, you can't argue with the pipes.
Yeah, but I thought he did perfectly fine. I love the way he was with Pearline. Was that her name? Pearline. Yeah. And I just noticed this on the second viewing. Did you guys see that's the name of his club?
I didn't. I saw it in the notes. I did not catch it when I was watching it.
What was it?
It's Pearline's. Instead of Buddy Guy's Legends. But
I recognized Buddy Guy, and it's, to be honest, I thought he was dead, so I didn't think he. But I knew I've seen him play, and yeah, it was cool to see him kind of be play that role.
I agree. I love it. I mean, that just talk about icing on the cake. Like, again, that end scene just added so much more to my love of this movie. Because I love Buddy Guy. I've been to Legends so many times. When I was in my XRT days, we did so many broadcasts from there. It was great. Charlie, you've been to Legends many times, probably, right?
Oh yeah, I've been to one of his takeovers in the middle of winter.
Nice.
Where you line up outside to get a seat at one of the 10 tables that he's got there, and you just sit there all day ordering food and drinking booze, waiting for him to come on stage.
It's the most Chicago thing you can do, baby.
I actually saw him open at Soldier for Dave Matthews.
Really?
He filled in. I think it was supposed to be like Macy Gray or some shit, if I remember correctly. And funnily enough, my parents were in the Quad Cities at Blues Fest. They always used to go. There's a Blues Fest down on the river front there, and Buddy Guy was supposed to be headlining that night. And they pulled him from there, and he came and filled in and opened for Dave Matthews, a Soldier. And I texted my parents, and I was like, "You thought you were seeing Buddy Guy," and I was like, "Now I'm seeing him in Chicago."
You mentioned the end, Martin, where they walk into Buddy Guy's club or Sammy's club, right? I thought that was so good. Like, you think the movie's over, you're like, okay, this is kind of how it ends. You're like, okay, it kind of, fades off. You see the ending, and I don't want to spoil it, but
we're
like,
spoilers.
okay.
You're watching.
Yeah,
you're spoiling. We're talking about
Don't
the whole
listen
movie.
to this. Turn it off if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, but the way
you're going to hear a lot more spoilers.
Yeah, the way that they just like acted that whole scene out, and then the rest of like how Stack and
Mary.
Stack and Mary show up, and you're just like, oh, they survived, and then they just keep going, and they're like, yeah, he told me not to hurt you, so I kind of let you be, and it's just like, it's so good. Like, it still builds that whole, like, the genre of, like, everything that they've gone through, everything they fought through, everything Sammy, like, had to do to, like, get out of the South and make it in Chicago, and then, but you still have that element of, like, the vampire still haunting him and still, like, around to,
I have some minor
steal
qualms
those.
with that in general.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's a very happy ending. Every character got exactly what they wanted. It's perfectly written, because you have Smoke reunites with his family in the afterlife, and that's what I love about it. I don't always think about that, but like within, when it's a vampire movie, within the context of the movie, obviously heaven, hell, all that exists. So yeah, she knew what she was talking about when she's like, don't let me turn into a vampire, kill me. And it obviously pissed off Stack and Mary because they wanted all four of them to be together as vampires. They wanted them to be part of the collective. But Smoke has his happy ending. Stack has his happy ending, which you don't know. You think that he's dead, but you probably could have figured it out if you had a second to breathe before they get to that ending scene, because they just left it open. You don't see him die. But the fact that
you get used to that.
Yeah.
That's it's what you're used to now. It's like Game of Thrones style. You couldn't if you don't see him die. They
right,
didn't die.
yeah, but he gets to be with Mary because he never was able.
That's my qualm.
Yeah, he was never able to be with her because
No, my qualm is that we can if he lets him live and he he tells him he needs to leave Sammy alone. Okay, but Mary was out in the background of the water with when the main dude gets killed.
Yeah.
So she shouldn't really have gotten out of there when everyone else burned up.
no, well, because I think Stack took her. They went somewhere, like because Smoke was the one that killed the guy. But if he let Stack go, he let his brother go. Stack grabbed Mary and they went somewhere. They went into a car. They hid.
I started thinking about this, but like, remember when the clan shows up the next day and the doors are locked? There's an argument that he locked them in.
Yeah.
So they couldn't.
Okay, but they were hidden from the sun, so they didn't die. They're in their
Stack,
coffins.
yes. I'm saying Mary wasn't. Mary was out with everybody else.
Well, we didn't see
Stack
her,
was inside.
You have to assume.
You're right.
You have to assume that Stack took her, and you're getting very technicality on me here, buddy.
I said I had my minor qualm with the.
But yeah, let me just finish the thought there. Yes, because he wasn't able to be with Mary, in this world because they never would accept him to be with a black man to be with a white girl and be safe. But then as vampires, they were able to live their happily ever after until 1992. Make it that many years later. So yeah,
they did the right thing.
But Martin, to your point earlier, when you were talking about how, watching them have so much fun, getting the juke joint together, getting the party set up and ready to go. Buddy Guy at the end actually had one of my favorite lines in the movie. I think it was the last line of the entire thing, where he's like, up until the point where shit goes to hell, that was the best night of my life. It kind of sends shivers down my spine a little bit.
And Stack agrees with him, right? He's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah. Last time he saw his brother and last time he saw sunlight. The reality of the vampire world.
When we first meet Remick, the original vampire, how did he show up? Because was he running from the sun? Is that why he was all burnt up?
Well, he was running from the Choctaw.
He was running from the Native Americans, right?
Yeah, but I think the sun was burning, and which is why he was essentially trying to get cover.
Got it. Okay. I was just
that was my biggest issue with this movie, though. To be honest, is that not so much that they don't explain his backstory. I'm fine with that. Like the fear of the unknown plays well here. But the Native Americans are chasing him through the fields, which seems like they've been chasing him for miles and miles on end. He gets to a house. They know he's in the house very clearly, and then they just give up and leave. And
Yeah, I kind of thought they would come back.
They live to fight another day. They're like, we're gonna live, and he's getting reinforcements.
And I guess it goes back to Jelani, your point of like this only happens in a single day. So maybe that kind of explains it, but it's one of those things where it ends abruptly, and then that's it.
But let's talk about Remick for a minute and we'll talk in general about the music. We talked a little bit about Sammy's voice, but the Irish singing too was phenomenal. It was just a great counterpoint sitting outside and kind of enthralling Mary. Even Stack too, right? Like it kind of you could see it was hypnotizing to a degree. And I just throughout the movie, I felt like the music played consistently. It didn't really matter. Whatever music was happening, I was blown away by across the board. I was like, none of it was a miss.
Yeah. What did you think of the whole bringing in the future and the past and all that whole scene? Did you love it?
So I didn't fully understand it when I was watching it. I was just because at the time you don't necessarily know exactly what's going on, and that and then they cut to Remick watching, and that's kind of you realize obviously way later that he wants Sammy for that reason, right? But I did not. In the moment, I was like, "What the fuck is?" We got girls shaking their asses. We got 1980s guys doing breakdancing. We got Asian, Oriental. I don't even know the right term. Completely geisha type paint. Looking women. I'm like, there was African tribes people. Damn, it was all. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
I think I got it, and I loved it in the theater. But then on the second viewing, the only part that I didn't love was who was the electric guitar player was not really playing anything. He was the only one that looked like he was like.
It was like they did an Andre 3000 lookalike.
But I'm
we're just going to put him out there.
I would have preferred a Hendrix or I don't know if they were going.
Well, he was the future.
Niles Rodgers.
He was the futuristic version.
Oh yeah, maybe it's even the future from us.
So because that's what it said. That's how I interpreted it. It said they even said it when it happened. I actually went back and watched that whole scene because I wanted to kind of re-see that after knowing kind of where it was going, and it was right when they said "and sounds of the future," and then that person walked out, and it was like, okay, so I was taking it future of past us too.
But yeah, I loved that concept. I thought it was great.
Did you guys know the rules about vampires not being allowed to enter without permission?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we've seen the Lost Boys, bro.
So
did you know that garlic is bad for vampires?
Yeah, I did. I also thought the guitar was silver, and I thought that was going to be.
It was at the end.
Yeah.
The plate.
Yeah, the plate into his head,
plate.
and it was burning. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it cut through his flesh like
I'm not
butter.
sure I realized that in the first time I saw it, but I definitely did the second time.
It was very bright.
Yeah,
and silver
I know.
looking.
I don't know if I just wasn't fully paying attention to it or something. But yes, I thought that was a nice touch that the guitar was.
Did you know a stake through the heart can kill him?
Yes.
The guitar was instrumental in killing him.
The other thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Martin, you might have, and Charlie might have, because you guys have seen it twice. But
Jeremy's out.
did you?
Brady doesn't pay attention.
Did you see how the aspect ratio changed when they decided to fight the vampires? Like it was like letterbox at first, and then as soon as they decided to fight, this whole screen filled up.
Oh,
I don't think I noticed that. No,
I did.
Actually, what I did notice when they did start to fight, I love that they went right for it. They had, I forget her name, but when she goes, "Come on in, you motherfuckers!"
Oh yeah,
because other movies like From Dusk Till Dawn, they take their time and they're like, "Oh, we got a plan and we're gonna do this and fill us out." They had zero time. Grace just went right for it,
nothing.
and that's why I don't really think it's a, it's obviously got horror elements to it, but there wasn't really any scary parts. And they
My wife would have probably disagreed if she watched it.
they just kind of went. It was the big final battle happened right away. So I think it focused on the drama and the story, all that much more, which I'm happy for, because we've seen fights, we've seen stakes through hearts, we've seen all that stuff. They didn't really need to do it better than anybody, and I don't know that they necessarily did, but they were quick about it, so I appreciated that.
But
I have to counter. There was no scary parts. We had a jump scare 4, guys.
Yeah, which part?
shat himself.
When Cornbread grabbed Smoke,
I was gonna say
Slim
cornbread.
shat
Yeah.
himself. That's a jump scare 4 on the Tate scale.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty good. But
He told you outright.
Yeah.
but they, they definitely they're like, be careful. Like, you knew something was coming, and it was pretty good. You're right.
That's really funny, Jelani. Grace is telling them to come on in, motherfuckers, was just an unbelievable kamikaze statement. Like, there's 3-4 times as many people outside. Like,
But
but that would also be that, little qualms here and there, but like they pretty much had it at that point, and then they all left. Like, they all kind of bailed, like, really giving them the only chance they had to survive. Like, there was really no chance they had, and then they just, like, got out of there. Like, kind of for no reason, I would say. Like, I don't really, at least I didn't see any reason. It was explained. Like, there was really nothing to make them leave.
Yeah.
They just left.
There was more pickled garlic than you know.
They just lived, like, all right, we'll settle this in 15 minutes from now.
Also, there was way too much gore and violence versus what the actual body count was. It seemed like when they broke in to the place, they were just murdering everyone, and then all of the main characters are more or less still alive at the end of that scene.
It's true. I don't know how many extras they had on the offensive side, but or on the defensive
I do
side,
feel like
but
they could have had more people alive that were just in the background in the barn, as opposed to just like our main characters.
Yeah.
Just to have some people to kill to make it. Yeah, but whatever.
they sent them out already.
Yeah, I'm picking nits.
I was going to say, back to the vampire lore piece, the one that I was actually surprised about was the hive mind component of, like, absorbing memories. I don't know if I've seen that before within any vampire mythos, and maybe I just missed it, but was that new for you guys too?
Totally.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it worked for whoever wrote the intro part of it, but for the metaphor for cultural exploitation and systems that drain communities of their lifeblood. Good job, Brady. Like that's what I think. I think it works really well, and that's what having the Irish element of it, and it just works for the context of the movie. And I think having that kind of hive mind, bringing them back into the collective, like you're part of this community that understands what it's like to be outcasts.
Yeah, and they were doing everything together. To your earlier point about Stack and wanting Mary and Annie and Smoke to be all together, that was their way to be together at that point, and to kind of have unlimited power and resources. I think connected to that, and maybe this has happened as well, but everyone being affected by Remic's injuries, and having that was a way to slow down, which also kind of explains a little bit of their ability to succeed, was to injure him, and that immediately allowed them to overtake some of the vampires.
Yeah,
I liked all of it.
I mean, I don't think this movie like fully demonizes vampires. Like, I don't think they're saying that they're evil. Like, the name of the movie is Sinners too, so there's still some thinking I have to do on all of this. But I don't know. I don't think it's saying that like they're all the vampires are just bad people. Like, we're obviously two of our heroes end up.
Are we sure the vampires are the sinners?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here. So I'm not sure if I'm the right person to do it or what. But there's a lot there, and it makes me think.
I'm going to lean towards no.
You can try. Just try very carefully, Martin. Try very, very carefully. I think you're right, though, Brady, because there's so many different elements of people who you could say we're sinners, right? It goes all the way from SmokeStack, from the crimes that they committed, to even running the juke joint again, with the gambling, beating the people up who didn't follow the rules, looking at all the different ways they were trying to kind of make their way through the world, going against the laws of prohibition, but then also, the clan that sold them the juke joint, knowing that they were going to come back and retake it and burn it down, or just like steal the money from them and take what they've had. Like there's a lot there, and I like I said, this is a movie you could probably spend weeks trying to decipher everything that Coogler's trying to say, but if you just watch it and like seriously just sit and watch it, put your phone away and go. Like I didn't have any notes other than the 4 people that I called out, and then when Slim shat himself.
Well, a good one to round out that list.
Well, I don't want to. I mentioned the Irish music, but like you talked about Sammy too, but also Perline. She's singing and they're stomping, and like the beat is just building and building, and like they're kicking ass in the back, and it's just like, dude, like that was
hers was my favorite musical
legitimately
scene. Yeah,
that was. I was watching that, and that was when I was like, I wish I was watching this in a theater, because that was the sound, and the movie we're beating like a beating heart through it, and I'm like, this is amazing, and that was just phenomenal. Like nothing against, to your point, nothing against Sammy. We talked about how amazing his voice was. I loved all the Irish songs that were going on outside. That her song was just fucking awesome.
So Haley Steinfeld is a singer, right? How did they not get her to sing anything?
She actually has a song on this. She wrote a song for the soundtrack.
But I checked. I went through the credits.
I don't know if it plays in the movie.
Vocal credits anywhere. Isn't that weird? Like, why wouldn't they?
She did write a song for the movie. Okay. I know that, but maybe it was just on the soundtrack itself.
Didn't she just marry Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
She also sang in Pitch Perfect 2.
Yeah.
She's in that.
So she's definitely nice to look at. And you want to know, randomly I remember she's actually really funny in Hawkeye, the Marvel show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like the main girl in that along with...
Is she the kid?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. I did not realize that.
I mean, I don't know, kids loose. I mean, I would say she's a young woman.
Right.
College.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, she's the girl, and she's like has a surprising amount of like comedic ability, countering what's her face, the blonde.
Farmiga?
No.
Oh,
shit. From Scarlet or Black Widow.
Yeah, Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh. Thank you. Jeez.
Yes.
Their chemistry was actually really awesome. The two of them together, like their comedic. It was well done. I didn't know she had that in her. I remember her. I think she in True Grit.
True
right?
Grit is
Haley
the first
Steinfeld?
first thing I've seen her in, and that was in 2010. She was like 14 or 15.
And then she was a kid at that point.
She was like 15 years old.
But then she's had some songs. But
did you know who her co-star was in Hawkeye? One of her other co-stars,
Jeremy Renner.
It is Jeremy Renner, but it's also our boy. Lala
yeah, from Lala. Yeah,
Tony
Dalton.
Tony
Dalton.
Lindsay's still on season 6.
No, I wanted to call this out though, real quick. Where I was going with the music. I saw this and I'm like, this is amazing. And I legitimately, as I was reading it, I played the song while I was on the train. Coogler said that he had Metallica on his mind when he was laying out the story's rhythm and beats. And actually, I read it, but I also saw it later. Lars Ulrich is noted as one of the drummers, like drumming contributors for. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's Lars. But
I love Metallica. And I really can't stand Lars.
Yeah, well, we all hate him. He ruined Napster. It is what it is.
Not even for that. I just think his drumming's not that great.
But Coogler said he wanted the movie to have simplicity and simultaneously the profound nature of a Delta blues song.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have the contrast, variation, and inevitability of a great Metallica song like One. And it's like One is the signature song. It starts off with almost like easy listening solo, and it goes batshit insane. And I'm like talking earlier about what we were saying in regards to this, like the way that the movie happens. It's that first hour of, it's fine. It's a normal movie. It's, we liked it, but then it totally does go batshit insane, an hour in. And I just thought that was awesome. And legitimately, I just listened to one while I was reading more notes because that's honestly
Ludwig Göransson's the
an all-timer.
composer and everything.
Yeah.
Did we mention him already or no?
Not yet,
No.
but I did see that.
Yeah, I mean he works.
He's done some things since pairing up with Childish Gambino.
Yeah, he's been with our boy Nolan on Oppenheimer and Tenet, and then he's done Black Panther and the Black Panther movies and
Well,
Creed.
he's done a bunch of
He's
stuff.
done
I
Black
mean.
Panther. He's done Creed. He did the
Yeah.
whole Creed thing. He did.
I think he was at
Fruitvale
Atlanta.
Station. Yeah, he and Coogler, I think, met in USC, and that's why they've worked together so much, because they've known each other for a long time.
I think he was like an executive producer on this too, not just the music.
Now he's loaded.
Yeah.
Now he can do stuff like
He's
that.
the one to watch. He's an up and comer.
Yeah, I
might have
think
some
might have
I think he up and came. Wait, what? The other note I wanted to call out, because this is right up Martin and Jelani's alley, and maybe Charlie too. Coogler said that in an interview that one of the inspirations for the film was an episode of The Twilight Zone. And he said
which one.
my favorite thing ever made is The Twilight Zone, and my favorite episode is called The Last Rites of Jeff Myrtlebank.
Damn it! I don't know that
I've
one.
seen that episode.
Maybe I've seen it, but I don't know.
premiering in the third season. The episode centers on Jeff Myrtlebank, a young man living in a small town in the southernmost sections of the Midwest, who mysteriously returns to life at his own funeral, much to the shock of his loved ones and pastor. Despite their reasonable trepidation, the townspeople declare it a miracle, until rumors begin to swirl regarding minor yet noticeable shifts in Jeff's behavior following his unexpected resurrection. All right. Well, I was kind of hoping one of you was going to be like, "Yes, I love that episode."
I'm all about. I love the Twilight Zone, and
I know. You were the one I was counting.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I don't know it, but there's one of our other favorite shows, Severance, which you guys all watch Severance. Yeah, there was an episode.
Jelani refuses, but
I love it. That show's amazing.
yeah, of course.
There's an episode of
amazing.
the Twilight Zone with an elevator and things that have different. It's titled after. I went back and watched it after I watched the Severance episodes because it's like one of those things. So yeah, I think Twilight Zone is one of the greatest shows of all time, and there's so many people that I think have been influenced by it. Jordan Peele did a remake of it.
Jordan Peele,
yeah,
that's
he
right.
did the remake, the new ones, and I've seen some of those too. But there's just so many of them, so it's like one of those I always mean to watch, but I have not seen them all, and I'm pissed off that I didn't see this one for you.
I think they only for the reboot. I think it only lasted 2 seasons.
Because it was on like CBS Plus or whatever when that still existed.
Yes, it was.
Before it was
when
Paramount.
nobody had it. Yeah.
Well, it's also not a show for CBS. That's like I've been saying. I'm preaching out loud. Stop making. It's not for 75-year-old people. So you want to put it on something that people are going to watch. Only Jelani has Paramount Plus.
We got rid of it finally.
No.
Yeah. And then they wanted to charge us another month. I was like, hell no.
You guys finished Blue Bloods and you finally called it?
Blue Bloods, FBI International, they're all done.
In all fairness, I'm thinking about signing back up because of the new Dexter show.
Oh yeah, you're into Dexter?
Yeah, I like Dexter. What you
I know
say
there's a
that
little bit of
with,
judgment there.
connotation.
No, I loved it in the beginning, but I didn't finish it. It went like 7 seasons or something, didn't it?
No, I say 9 seasons ago.
So the last season is pretty terrible, but then they've retconned it at least twice. So they've got a follow-up series that was actually pretty.
You're proving my point here, though.
And there was a prequel with Christian Slater's in that one, and now there's a Dexter Resurrection, which is supposed to be like a new standalone.
They're just
You can just watch other stuff.
They're going to the well too much, is what I'm saying. Like, and if I have to like slog through a bunch of terrible seasons to maybe get to something good, I don't know.
But did you see the John Lithgow season?
I think that's where I stopped.
That's supposedly the best one.
that's probably one of the best seasons of television. I'm not going to say it's top 5, but probably top.
I've heard
10,
it's pretty
top
amazing.
15.
I like John Lithgow as a
It's
psycho.
really good.
You know, it happens
He's
every once in a
amazing
while.
that show.
Yeah.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Martin's calling for Ricochet next.
Yeah, Ricochet. Yeah, hell yeah. Denzel.
Double feature Ricochet and Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, evil John Lithgow. Let's do it. I'm signing up.
I have an idea. Before, so we don't forget to do it. You suppose we should talk about Michael B. Jordan at all on this?
Yes, probably a good idea.
Because I feel like we were threatening the possibility that we were going to end this podcast without literally mentioning it one time. Because I don't know the ins and outs of what it's like to film a movie, well, at all, but let alone as two different characters. But he was ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we kind of take it for granted that he's so good, right? Like he's
I
awesome.
think so. I think that's a fair assessment and something that seems, I know we've talked probably on the pod and off about, we all know him from The Wire,
Yeah.
Hardball. As a kid, we saw him do things. I mean, and obviously he's gone on to do Creed and Black Panther and some of the major stuff. I mean, Fruitvale Station's amazing. But I would say this is probably the best I've seen him be. And part of that's taking into consideration the fact that he's playing two different roles. But I think he's really, really good.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that I enjoyed a lot was the fact that he had the two different characters that were two vastly different storylines, right? Like
Yep.
you have Smoke, who is just the hard edge criminal, hey, takes no shit from nobody, but then when he goes and he sees Annie and talks to her and you realize that they lost a child together, he still loves her, and you see that softer side of him, but at the same time he's like, listen, when they get to the juke joint and they're offering the drinks and the guy can't pay for his drinks, he's like, this is a business, I don't give a shit what this guy has, he needs to pay. And then you flip it over to Stack and he's the smooth talker, the ladies man, the hey, I'll get your drink now, you'll pay me back when you get a chance, kind of the wheeler and deal. I thought it was really good.
My single favorite scene was when he asked him to play guitar in the car, and then he starts singing. His face, his reaction was pretty much I think everyone's reaction is just holy shit, where did this voice come from? And he's just we gotta make some money. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I really liked the scene when he asks the girl to watch the truck and then negotiates kind of for her.
Yeah.
Money always has to be
her
talking.
To yeah. Really enjoyed that. I think I who knows, right, the way things will go, but I feel like even though it was an April release, I could see him getting some award buzz at some point if this movie's still remembered and not drowned out by movies that get released a month before or 4 months after the award show. But
Yeah, I think my favorite scene with him is at the end when he dips into the melancholy and he asks the clan leader for a cigarette and he's just sitting on the ground smoking, and then the clan guy starts begging for his life and he picks up the bar, his assault rifle, and just unloads into him.
Very satisfying.
did he dig his own trench there
was.
for the gun in a perfect rectangle, or how did that work?
Yeah, he had it all set up.
Yep.
It's all planned, all ahead of time.
Yeah, they were. I really liked the disparity. I liked the Bloods and Crips angle. You could tell. In order to keep them apart, they really,
Hats.
yeah, Well, I didn't catch that part, but I did read that. That was referencing one of them was wearing the Irish style.
And the Italian.
And the Italian style fedora,
I
and it
didn't
was
think about that.
so you knew they were playing both sides, how they, and how they worked all that out, and I'm that just those little touches, right? You can, well, that's I guess. Sorry, I don't want to label them like Jelani said. They just decided Chicago wasn't for them.
Yeah, Chicago. It was just Mississippi with tall buildings.
Yeah, right.
Stick with the devil,
Yeah, I think ultimately, like, this is a movie that if you had a chance to see it in the theaters, do it. If it comes back out and around in the theaters, go for it, because it was a good watch at home, just because I could have, subtitles on and didn't have to worry about, anybody else. But it would have been very enjoyable to see on the big screen. And again, like we said, with the music and the way that all of it comes together, would have been very good to feel with the sound system of a full movie theater.
Yeah, when it came out and they were starting to tally the box office, there was a big discussion around this film either being the make or break point for these, net new storylines, new IP with a larger budget and a hard R rating, kind of being the either the downside or the savior for cinema. So I know we're on the other side of that, but I'm really glad it proves that this model can be sustainable, that you can make original film and still be profitable, still have an audience to go see it. And then on top of that, Ryan Coogler, I forgot the exact terms of it, but he negotiated like a historical deal where he gets the rights back.
25 years.
Is it 45 years?
25.
25 years.
He owns the movie after 25 years.
Which is the shortest amount of time, I think, the studio has ever agreed to.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I think Tarantino did 30 years for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was something like that. And don't quote me on the numbers, but
Too late. It's on tape.
Yeah. Our other two listeners are fact checking right now.
I didn't think
Petrus is gonna write you an angry letter.
I didn't think Charlie was going to bring up a hard R on this movie, but
It was a hard R.
uncharted territory. No, I actually, when I was watching it initially, I'm like, okay, yeah, like I like this. I don't know if this is a movie that I'm gonna rewatch, right? And again, I only kind of, and then after getting through it and kind of most of the way through it, I was like, I think I need to rewatch this. Not that I do want to, but like I think it's actually will be really beneficial to see. Like I said, so I went back and watched a couple scenes just because I didn't have the time to watch the whole thing again before we recorded. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth it.
It'll be a repeat view for me as well. A couple times every few years, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in there. It's not one of those one and done for sure.
same. There was some chatter about a sequel. Are you guys pro-sequel or anti-sequel?
I don't know. The script
No
would have
need.
to be really,
Don't need
really
it.
good, and you'd have to not call it Sinners 2. More sinners.
Still sinning.
Still, there you go.
Still, I think that's the title. But following Mary and
Stack.
was it Smoke or was it Stack?
Stack.
I could see that being a
Sad.
TV show or something, but I don't know if I don't know.
You don't need it.
I would leave I'd probably leave
Movie in
well enough
6
alone,
seasons.
but yeah, right, there you go.
Well, and honestly, like, we talked about a bunch of different characters. Annie was one of the best characters,
Yeah.
and I felt like throughout, and obviously, so she's gone. I think you obviously would have to follow Stack and Mary because they're about the only ones left. But some of the people that I think would have made it interesting to revisit are gone. So to me, it would not be necessary. Which means they'll probably do it.
But I was just about to say, yeah, thanks Charlie for dragging me out to this movie. Not dragging me, I went willingly, but for inviting me when we went to see it in the theater.
Suggesting it.
And thanks for coming on the pod. Back on.
I didn't press the gun into your back that hard, Martin.
It doesn't take much.
Well, thank you guys for having me. Always a pleasure.
Always welcome.
I Well, hope you invite me back for another one. I'm looking forward to doing Copland at some
He's
point.
calling the shot here.
You got Brady's vote of approval for this.
All right.
As always, we ain't never seen no roots, no ghosts, no demon, just power. Only money can give you that. Money and subscribing to our Film Fathers podcast. Thanks, and go to bed.